If you're in your 60 seconds or beyond, and your hands have been feeling stiff, swollen, or just not as strong as they used to be, you're not imagining it. It's likely arthritis, and it's far more common than people think. A recent 2023 study from the Arthritis Foundation shows that nearly 1 inch, 2 adults, over 65 inches, the U.S., are living with some form of arthritis. That's over 30 million seniors struggling with daily pain, limited motion, and fingers that don't always cooperate. But here's the part that hurts even more. It's not just physical. Because when your hands stop working the way they used to, you lose more than movement. You lose little joys. Writing a birthday card, cooking for your family, holding hands with someone you love. Even turning a doorknob can become a reminder that your body is changing and not in the way you want. Many of my patients describe it as a quiet kind of sadness, one they don't always talk about. The kind that shows up in the morning when you're trying to brush your teeth or hold a coffee cup and your fingers just won't bend. And while there are medications, many of them only mask the pain. They don't heal. They don't restore. That's why I want to gently introduce another way, a quieter path forward. Not a miracle, not a cure, but a simple habit that, over time, can bring real relief. Starting with something as basic as a cup of tea. It may sound small, but certain herbal teas have been shown to naturally reduce inflammation, improve circulation, and ease joint pain, especially when used daily, backed by science, trusted by tradition. In the next parts, I'll show you exactly which teas work best, how to prepare them, and why they can support your stiff, aching hands in ways you might not expect. And if this sounds like the kind of gentle, practical advice you've been looking for, I'd love for you to subscribe. Not for me, for you. So you don't miss simple steps like this that could quietly change your day. Because your hands still matter. When it comes to natural relief for joint pain, few ingredients have been studied as much or praised as highly as turmeric. This golden root, often found in your spice rack, contains a powerful compound called curcumin. And curcumin does something many pain medications don't. It works directly at the source of inflammation, not just to mask the pain, but to slow the damage happening inside your joints. To understand why this matters, it helps to know what's really happening in arthritic hands. The pain and stiffness aren't random. They're the result of chronic inflammation, driven by molecules like TNF-alpha and interleukin-6 chemical messengers that tell your immune system to attack. Curcumin has been shown to block these signals, helping to calm that overreaction and bring down the swelling from the inside out. One randomized controlled trial published in Clinical Interventions in Aging 2021 found that just 12 weeks of curcumin supplementation reduced joint pain and improved physical function in patients with knee osteoarthritis, with fewer side effects than standard NSAIDs like ibuprofen. But curcumin has a weakness. On its own, it's not well absorbed by the body. That's why it's so important to prepare turmeric tea the right way. Just a small pinch of black pepper, which contains a compound called piperine, can boost curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. And adding a bit of fat, like coconut milk or almond milk, helps even more. That's because curcumin is fat-soluble, meaning it needs fat to get where it needs to go. Let me give you an example. One of my patients, Henry, he's 70, started drinking turmeric tea every evening with a splash of almond milk and a bit of black pepper. He didn't expect much. But after about 5 weeks, he told me something simple. "Doc, I can actually open jars again." That's the kind of quiet improvement we're looking for. Not miracles, just better mornings. Beyond inflammation, curcumin also helps with oxidative stress, another process that damages cartilage and worsens arthritis over time. Some studies have even linked it to improved mood and sleep quality, two things that often suffer when you live with chronic joint pain. The beauty of turmeric tea is that it fits easily into your day. You don't need fancy supplements. Just warm up some water or milk, stir in about a teaspoon of turmeric powder, a pinch of pepper, and maybe a bit of honey or cinnamon to soften the taste. The result is a warm, golden drink that feels comforting and works behind the scenes to ease inflammation, improve circulation, and support your joints gently over time. It's not a quick fix, but when made part of your evening or morning rhythm, turmeric tea becomes something much more than a drink. It becomes a habit that helps your body heal, sip by sip. Next, we'll explore a tea that's less famous than turmeric, but quietly powerful in its own right, and may surprise you with what it can do for stiff, aching hands. While turmeric gets most of the attention in natural health circles, there's another tea that deserves a place in your daily routine, especially if you're struggling with inflamed, aching joints. It's called rooibos, and chances are you've either never heard of it or never realized what it could actually do for your arthritis. Rooibos comes from a shrub grown almost exclusively in South Africa. It's naturally caffeine-free, slightly sweet, and has a warm, earthy flavor. But what makes it truly special isn't the taste. It's what rooibos contains and how those compounds interact with your body. One of the key active compounds in rooibos is aspalathin, a potent antioxidant. Rooibos also contains quercetin, a flavonoid well known for its anti-inflammatory and immune-modulating effects. Research published in the Journal of Inflammation found that quercetin can suppress key pathways that lead to joint inflammation, including the notorious NF-kappa B signaling pathway, which is overactive in many people with arthritis. Put simply, rooibos helps turn down the body's inflammatory volume not just in your joints, but throughout your system. There's also growing evidence that rooibos may reduce levels of oxidative stress, a process that silently damages the cartilage and joint lining over time. A study from Phytomedicine 2020 showed that rooibos extract reduced oxidative markers in lab models of chronic inflammation, offering support for its use in inflammatory diseases like arthritis. But here's what makes rooibos especially helpful for people over 60. As we age, our bodies become more sensitive to stimulants like caffeine, and poor sleep can make arthritis symptoms worse. Unlike green or black tea, rooibos is completely caffeine-free, which makes it safe to drink even at night. In fact, it may help lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone that can make pain feel sharper and recovery slower. I've seen this work in real life. One of my longtime patients, Denise, age 74, was skeptical about tea doing anything for her, but we swapped her afternoon coffee for a warm cup of rooibos. After just 2 weeks, she noticed fewer flare-up days. More important, she said her evenings felt calmer, and her hands didn't throb the way they used to after dinner. The other benefit? Rooibos tastes good on its own. It has a smooth, slightly sweet flavor that often doesn't need honey or sugar. But if you enjoy experimenting, adding a cinnamon stick or a slice of fresh ginger can turn it into a powerful anti-inflammatory blend that supports circulation and digestion too. Preparing it is simple. Boil water, steep a rooibos tea bag or loose leaf for 5-7 minutes, and sip it slowly. That's it. No complicated tools, no side effects. Just a small daily choice that adds up over time. Because that's the truth about arthritis. It rarely improves overnight, but consistent supportive habits, like rooibos tea, can gradually ease the load on your joints. It won't reverse the damage, but it can help you move through the day with less pain, more steadiness, and fewer surprises. And that's worth making room for. Next, we'll look at a familiar flower with unexpected healing power, especially when the sun goes down and your joints start to ache even more. After looking at rooibos, let's turn to something more familiar. Chamomile tea may seem ordinary, but for people living with arthritis, it offers more than just a soothing flavor at bedtime. It has properties that can directly support your joints and help you rest better. 2 things that matter greatly when pain becomes part of daily life. Chamomile flowers contain compounds called flavonoids, most notably apigenin. Research in phytotherapy research has shown that apigenin helps regulate the body's inflammatory response by blocking overactive immune signals that drive swelling and stiffness. In simple terms, it helps calm down the very processes that make your hands ache. Another key benefit is how chamomile interacts with the nervous system. It binds to GABA receptors in the brain, the same calming pathway many sleep medications act on. For someone with arthritis, this means chamomile can reduce stress, lower tension, and help ease the way your body perceives pain. And because high stress often worsens inflammation, calming the mind indirectly helps calm the joints. Sleep is another critical factor. Poor sleep has been shown to increase arthritis pain and morning stiffness. In fact, studies report that people with arthritis who sleep less than 6 hours per night have significantly worse symptoms. Chamomile tea, taken before bed, has been linked to improved sleep quality, allowing the body more time to repair and reset inflammation overnight. I think of Robert, a 72-year-old patient of mine who used to wake up several times each night because of throbbing pain in his hands. Adding 1 cup of chamomile tea to his nightly routine didn't cure him, but it allowed him to sleep through most nights. That meant less morning swelling and easier movement when he woke. Small, consistent changes like that can reshape daily life. Brewing chamomile tea is simple. Steep the flowers or a tea bag in hot water for 5 minutes, then sip slowly. The warmth itself improves circulation and stiff hands, while the gentle aroma signals your body to slow down. A touch of honey or ginger can make it even more soothing. Chamomile won't erase arthritis, but it helps on multiple fronts, reducing inflammation, easing stress, and supporting deeper sleep. And when repeated night after night, it becomes more than a drink. It becomes a quiet habit of healing, one that prepares your body and mind for better days ahead. Next, we'll see how these teas can be combined into a daily rhythm that actually supports your joints in a sustainable way. We've looked at 3 powerful teas, turmeric, rooibos, and chamomile, each with its own way of calming inflammation and supporting joint health. The real benefit, however, doesn't come from trying them once in a while. It comes from weaving them into your daily rhythm in a way that feels natural and sustainable. Arthritis relief is rarely about one single fix. It's about creating small, steady habits that work together over time. Think of it like strengthening a weak muscle. One stretch won't change much, but daily practice can transform your mobility. Tea works the same way. A consistent routine allows the anti-inflammatory compounds to build up in your system, keeping your joints calmer day after day. So how can you do this without it feeling overwhelming? One simple approach is to match each tea with a different part of the day. In the morning, turmeric tea provides an anti-inflammatory boost to set the tone for the day. The curcumin helps reduce morning stiffness and prepares your hands to move more freely. Adding black pepper and a splash of almond or coconut milk improves absorption and gives it a smooth, nourishing taste. In the afternoon, when energy dips and stress may creep in, rooibos is an excellent choice. It's naturally caffeine-free, yet rich in antioxidants like quercetin and aspalathin that fight oxidative stress and ease inflammation. A cup here can replace coffee or soda, giving you comfort without the jitters, while also supporting your joints. And in the evening, chamomile comes in as the calming companion. By reducing stress hormones and promoting restful sleep, it helps your body repair overnight. Sleep is often overlooked, but it's during deep rest that tissues heal and inflammation resets. A warm mug of chamomile before bed can make your mornings noticeably easier. The key is not perfection, but consistency. Even if you only start with 1 cup per day, the benefits can build. Over weeks, many people notice less swelling, fewer flare-ups, and smoother movement. Pairing tea with an existing routine like drinking turmeric tea with breakfast, rooibos as an afternoon break, or chamomile before bed makes it easier to keep the habit. I remember a patient named Carol, 69, who felt overwhelmed by all the lifestyle advice she'd been given. Instead of changing everything at once, we started with a simple tea schedule. Turmeric in the morning, rooibos mid-afternoon, chamomile at night. Within 2 months, she told me her hands felt less angry, and her mornings didn't start with dread. That small shift gave her confidence to keep building healthier habits. Your own ritual doesn't need to be complicated. It just needs to be consistent. Choosing the right tea at the right time of day becomes a quiet way of telling your body, I'm taking care of you. Over time, that message adds up not only in reduced pain, but in a renewed sense of control over your health. Next, we'll bring all of this together and reflect on why these small steps, as simple as sipping tea, represent something much bigger than physical relief. When you take a step back, you can see that this isn't really about tea at all. Yes, turmeric, rooibos, and chamomile each bring their own unique support for joint health. But what truly matters is the way these small choices begin to reshape your relationship with your body. For many people living with arthritis, every day feels like a negotiation between what your hands want to do and what they're able to do. Over time, that can chip away at your sense of independence. But each time you brew a cup of tea, you're doing something important. You're making a decision to care for yourself, to give your body something gentle, natural, and healing. That act of self-care may seem small, but it carries a powerful message. I am not powerless against this pain. Research has shown that people who adopt consistent self-care routines, whether it's a short walk, a breathing exercise, or a cup of herbal tea, often report better quality of life, even when their medical condition hasn't changed dramatically. That's because healing is not only about biology, it's also about mindset, hope, and persistence. A nightly cup of chamomile or a morning mug of turmeric becomes more than relief for stiff fingers. It becomes a ritual that tells your body and mind, I'm still moving forward. I've seen this transformation in many of my patients. They begin with something simple, like replacing one sugary drink with rooibos or adding turmeric tea to their morning. At first, the change is subtle, maybe a little less swelling, maybe a better night's rest. But what really shifts is their confidence. They start to believe that change is possible, that their health is not fixed in decline, and that belief opens the door to more progress. So if you've followed along this far, I want to thank you sincerely. Your time is valuable, and the fact that you've chosen to stay here with me tells me you're ready to take even small steps toward relief. Please know you are not alone in this journey. Millions of others are facing the same struggles, and together we can find ways to make each day a little easier, a little lighter. If this video has been helpful to you, I'd be grateful if you subscribe to Golden Health. That way, you'll stay connected to more practical, natural approaches for joint pain and overall wellness. And if you think someone else in your life could benefit from these simple steps, share this with them. Sometimes one small suggestion can bring hope where it's most needed. Remember, arthritis may change how your body feels, but it doesn't define who you are. With every sip, you're reminding yourself that healing is still possible and that you are worth the care you give yourself.